Well, hi everyone. This is Dr. Jeff Schroeder, and I am pleased and blessed to be your next instructor in the program, RNRS 358 Evidence-Based Practice. For many of you in cohort 23, we come together again. I was your instructor at the very beginning in your first class, the 272 class, and so it's very good to be with you again. I'm glad to see that most of you have been able to hang right in there, and here you are getting towards the end of the program, or at least towards the heavy middle of the program. So congratulations. I'm glad to be with you again, and I hope that your experience so far in the program has made it worthwhile. We do have some students that are going to be in this class who have not been in the online program before. There are 4 students from the High Desert program, and due to some scheduling conflicts, they're not going to be taking the classes ground in the High Desert for this class. They're going to be joining us here for this online class. So I'd like to welcome you students as well. And for those of you in the online cohort that have been together for a while now, please welcome these students. Take some time to introduce yourselves in the introduction forum of the class and make for a welcoming atmosphere. There's no doubt going to be a lot of questions for with the new students, and those of you that have been online for a while, of course, pretty much know the drill by now. It's not that much different in this course than it is with most other courses, but for the online, it may be a little bit different if you haven't taken an online course before. This course is designed to help introduce you to the concept of evidence-based practice. Now, I know that you've all heard that term. You all know what that means. Evidence-based practice is, of course, the concept that everything we do in nursing should be based in hard empirical evidence, that we should have research to back up everything that we do as being the best possible interventions, the best possible practice. But the devil's in the details. Sometimes evidence-based practice may vary a little bit dependent upon the population that you're dealing with, or the particular institution where you're talking about implementing practice. So this class is going to teach you and in some ways mimic the real evidence-based practice process of identifying a problem and then identifying potential interventions to address that problem and coming up with a way of measuring the outcomes and seeing if the outcomes actually are what you think that they're going to be once you institute the no program. So that's going to be the basic flow of this 5-week course. In week number 1, besides of course introducing yourselves in introductions, you're going to have a discussion question talking about critical thinking and how problems are identified. Your first process in this whole process of identifying evidence-based practice interventions is to figure out what problems need to be addressed. No sense implementing new practice if there's not a problem to tie it to. So that's really where we start this discussion. And in further weeks, we'll be talking about something called the PICO process. Talk about that a little bit more later, but when you review the reading this week and as you review the materials, you'll see that a PICO is really just a process of formulating a research question that pertains to evidence-based practice. And then in coming weeks, we will be focusing on doing a literature review, finding literature support to support what change of practice you think may be appropriate, and then developing a plan. Ultimately, you're going to be developing a plan in the final assignment for the course that would address how you would implement this, or the challenges that you would find in implementing it in the real world. This course is also a little bit different in that it is technically listed, I believe, on your schedules as a 6-week course. However, there's 5 weeks of instruction because of some changes that we've made in the curriculum and our need to adjust our schedule so that we meet FERPA and financial aid type guidelines. We've had to make some changes. So this course starts on March 24th. March 27th is the first day, and it will actually end on, I believe it's May 7th. That, however, would make it a 6-week course, but we're still only going to be 5 weeks of instruction. So what that means is that in week number 5, you actually have an extra week to get your final assignment in. Those final assignment and final discussions will actually take place over a 2-week period. So technically that 6th week is what we call a dead week. but it's a time when you're technically enrolled in the program. You're just not getting any new class instruction that week. So the assignments that are normally due week 5 will be extended out for another week. So essentially, if you want to get all your assignments done in week 5, you essentially have a week off. If you want to wait until the end of week 6 to go ahead and turn your assignments in, that's perfectly fine too. But basically, you get an extra week in there to do them. So just to let you know, if a question comes up, don't get confused when it looks on the schedule like it's a 6-week course. But in the discussion questions and in the form, there's 5 weeks of modules listed. That's why it is that way. It is anticipated that this is the only course that's going to affect. In Sakai, you'll see that if you, of course, you should be familiar with Sakai by now. The weekly assignments are listed in the lessons section. We try to come up with a new Sakai template, so hopefully it is relatively easy to navigate and pretty intuitive for you. I will appreciate your feedback as we go along as we have any issues. It is a new template. We have a course designer that has developed the course, so hopefully if there are any links that don't work, if we run into any technical issues, we'll be able to go to the Sakai people and have them fix them. And then, of course, the things that I can fix, I will go ahead and fix as need be as well. For this week, please review, and look at your syllabus. I'm posting this message and I'm opening the class about a week early, so you can go ahead and review the course and you can review the class. If you do have any questions, please send me an email. If you post a question in the class, I may not see it until closer to the actual start date. So don't use the Ask Your Instructor forum yet for questions. Wait until the class actually starts. If you have any questions between now and then, go ahead and post them to me via email. If you use the message system, remember, always check that little send the message to the email recipient. That way I will be sure to get them. So this is a fun class to teach. I enjoy teaching about evidence-based practice and walking you through the process. This is something that is the real world, something that professional nurses and that nurses that have a minimum of a bachelor's degree end up doing in the hospital. Oftentimes done as part of a research team. And a lot of what we're doing here is going to deal with nursing research, which is a course you're going to be taking later on in the program. So I look forward to being with you. I'd just like to pray for a second and say, Dear Lord, thank you for bringing the class together. Thanks for being with everybody, and I pray that you continue to be with us. Continue to make this a good class. Continue the learning to be high, the standards to be even higher. And Lord, just thank you for all that you do for us. Be with us today. Be with us always. Meet us in our needs, and help us to remember that it is really you that we are striving for here. Pray this in your holy name, Lord. Amen. One other thing I forgot to mention. This is a Writing 3 course, and that means that there are going to be quite a few writing assignments. And so the standards for writing are going to be higher in this course perhaps than what you've had in some of the previous courses. There's going to be reliance on a writing text, and so you're going to have to be learning and really focusing on your writing skills, because that's going to be a big focus of this class, and some of the assignments have to do with your writing. Your weekly reflection post as well. You have a weekly reflection that is due each week as an assignment, and so you're going to be getting feedback and going to be learning about and focusing on writing as much as evidence-based practice in this class. So with that, I will let that be. I will be posting these weekly announcements each week, usually on Sunday night before the class starts. So you'll see me again 2 weeks, assuming that you view this message a week before class starts. At the end of week 1, I will be posting another message. As you have questions, let me know. I'm blessed to be here with you. I'm looking forward to a great class. Let me know as you have questions as we get going, and I look forward to seeing you in the discussion forums.